Today on the channel, the time has finally come as the Masters Universe Origins Snake Mountain has finally arrived.
And the spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for another He-Man and the Masters of the Universe Origins unboxing and review. And today on the channel, we got a special one. We got a playset. We got one of the most iconic playsets of all time. We got the Origins version of Snake Mountain. But for all your Snake Mountain needs, make sure you're hitting up Entertainment Earth. Use discount code Kyle, save yourself 10% all in-stock items. Anything over $79 does ship free. Got to get a deal out there. And I did order from Entertainment Earth, and I also ordered one from Amazon. This is the one I got from Amazon. So it looks like Amazon got out ahead of the pack shipping these ones out. And of course, we're going to do this one like we do all the other unboxings on the channel. We're going to take a look at the packaging. We're going to talk about it. We're going to unbox it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to see where it goes from there. And it's always fun doing these play sets, especially ones, for me, being a kid of the 80s, nostalgic play sets. And if you close your eyes, you're a kid of the 80s, and you say, what are the most iconic play sets of the 80s? Of course, you're going to have the G.I. Joe aircraft carrier, maybe G.I. Joe headquarters, maybe Boulder Hill from Mask, but definitely somewhere in the list, you're going to have the Masters Universe Castle Grayskull, and most likely Snake Mountain. And I had Grayskull and Snake Mountain as a kid. I did not have Eternia like most kids, but I definitely had Snake Mountain. I had hours of entertainment from Snake Mountain as a little kid. So this one really hits you in the nostalgia feels if you're someone like me. A lot of what is old is new again. Some changes, obviously, from the base edition. But, man, I'm very happy to get this one here. And we're really completing things off in the Origins world as we'll have, of course, Snake Mountain. We had Grayskull, and we got Eternia coming next year. You kind of got the triangle of terror right there. I can't wait to get those all on display, all set up in my collection. So that'll be a very fun time. It'll be a very fun time today in this video, getting this one out of the package. But let's look at the packaging first, then I'm going to take it offline. We're going to take a look at it. A big packaging box here. Not as heavy as I anticipated it to be, probably because I've been working out. That's probably the reason. Who knows? But definitely awe-inspiring artwork. As I always say in all these reviews, I love the Masters Universe artwork. Does not fail right here. Very cool scenes throughout. Definitely cool looking. Love all the characters down here battling. You got Moss Man down here. He's got his tongue lasher there. King Hiss. You even see some of these guys, was that Lord Grasp, I believe is that guy's name? Some peek under the tent of things to come. They're not putting him on the box just for fun. We're probably going to get him sometime. Man-at-Arms and Too Bad going on. Screech over here. We just unboxed Screech not long ago on the channel. Of course, you got all the Snake Mountain Web Star. He-Man, Skeletor battling up there at the top. Just a very, very cool scene right here. There's no doubt about it. Cool packaging art. Absolutely do love that. You get the side of the package over here. Looks like the Talon Fighter flying through the air. And we got some Snake Men down below. Is it the same thing on both sides? Well, I was reading the wrong side. There's the side I was talking about. You guys weren't facing the camera there, but there it is. The Talon Fighter and some of the Snake Men. And then we got a little, what's it say over here? Snake Mountain, the evil stronghold of Skeletor. And that makes a lot of sense. On the back, I feel like I'm looking at like the J.C. Penney's or the Sears catalog as a little kid. As they always had great pictures like this with everything set up. Just a cool, cool battle scene here. Just absolutely cool. And it really does double as a huge cross-sell, as you can see. There's all kinds of stuff. Naming the characters, naming the things. Definitely a checklist for the collector out there. Just definitely cool to see, hey, you can put this all together. You can create your own universe here with the Masters of the Universe. So just definitely next level packaging. Absolutely do love this. On the top, you got some more of the same going on over here. It does say, secret tunnel, sneak inside. Acid pit, sink your foes. Trap door, capture enemies. Coil bridge, scale the mountain. Striking snake, terrify all the intruders. And then, of course, Stronghold folds and opens for easy play, just like the old edition did as well. So definitely going to be a fun one. But, of course, I'm going to take this offline and get this out of the package. We'll be back talking all things Snake Mountain. All right, we got Snake Mountain out of the package and put together. Fairly easy process. Some nice instructions along the way. I got those chilling right here, but it comes with nice instructions, very detailed, very easy to follow. This isn't some super hard Lego set or something like that to put together. It goes together pretty easily, especially if you're familiar with Snake Mountain, the old one. There's a lot of stuff that's kind of very similar, and I guess you kind of know where things go. So with that being said, very easy to put together, no issues on that end. But I guess we'll dive into this, start describing it, start talking about all the stuff that Snake Mountain does come with. I did grab the Masters Universe Origins Castle Grayskull. Very similar, but very different, of course. You got the yin and the yang, the good and the bad right here. And Snake Mountain really does dwarf Grayskull in a lot of ways, so you can see that difference in height throughout here. So definitely cool to have these guys side by side once again. Of course, we unboxed this on the channel. One of the greatest videos I ever did on the channel was unboxing this one. So if you never watched that video, you should definitely check this one out. You can see me hanging out in Castle Grayskull around the pool. It was a great time. Great time. But Snake Mountain, at the end of the day, we love our bad guys. We might have loved He-Man as a little kid. We just didn't know we had that evil in our heart, that we really did like Snake Mountain. We did like Skeletor and the boys. And of course, this is original. The original owner would have been of King Hiss back in the day as well. So Snake Mountain, you guys get that there. But definitely a center of the bad guy universe in a lot of ways is, of course, this Snake Mountain. But let's dive into it. Let's look at some of these accessories first. Let's get those out of the way. We do got the weapons rack here, and you got them in that kind of fluorescent green color, like we saw with the Skeleton Warriors. We do get that sword, we do get the spear, we do get the shield. They plug into this weapons rack. You can store the weapons rack inside Snake Mountain if you want to. Outside of Snake Mountain, at the end of the day, choose your own weapons rack adventure. But we do get that as a little throw in there, so I'm definitely here for that. This feels like a nice free throw in a lot of ways. Now, we do get some creatures that go along, and these creatures can be used in different places throughout Snake Mountain. You do get this big old spider right here. You can put him in a few different places. Maybe we'll talk about that as well. But definitely got this spider, nice plastic spider here. Definitely just adds to the feel of Snake Mountain. A little bit creepy, a little bit crawly. You got that right there with the spider. Then you get this little lizard guy as well, looking interesting, fluorescent orange color. Does have a hole in his bottom here. You can stick him into the slime pits and things like that. So we do have him. Same thing with this dragon, which is pretty cool to see. And it's one of those things, you use your imagination. Like we saw with the dungeon in Castle Grayskull, some of those creatures you use your imagination for. And you stick, their body in here and you use your imagination that the rest is down below. And I think that is really cool. So we do get the dragon there. So you get 3 little creatures that can go around your Snake Mountain in different places if you want to. We got the iconic ladder right here. I believe the original version was a gray color. This is a little bit more of a brown color. But this is something you get Man-at-Arms. He's going to make an assault on Snake Mountain. He brings this up, throws this up here. They're trying to climb the wall. Just an easy way to get to the top instead of having to climb through here. And we'll talk about that in a second. But we do get this. We know all about this. Just a different color this time around. And then you do get the drawbridge. Of course, it connects in here. Of course, this whole set does fold up, just like we showed with Castle Grayskull folded up. This folds up as well, and when it does fold up, obviously you have to take this off, but this just piles right in here. You just stick it in there. It's a nice drawbridge. You can have characters, climbing across it, following the steps, working their way to the top. Almost reminds me of a young Fireball Island. Do you ever play Fireball Island back in the day? The greatest board game of all time, no doubt about it. I feel like I need to drop a marble off the top, have it roll down, and knock He-Man off the bridge. But we do get the bridge here. These pieces clip right in there, the little handles. Definitely looking ooey, gooey, slimy, kind of gross. Definitely on brand for Snake Mountain. Definitely cool here. Now, you do get the big old snake at the top. One of the hallmarks, I would say, of Snake Mountain is definitely this. You got the articulated jaw on the snake as well, side to side. A lot more movement than back in the day for sure. It does come right out, but it does easily plug in. So if you want to take this out for whatever reason, you can. Plug it back in if you want to, but it plugs in very easily into Snake Mountain in the back there. Very easy to do. But you do get some articulation. You do get some movement out of it, so you can have him terrorizing He-Man if you want to. And then, of course, we can continue the terrorization of He-Man if you want. If he climbs up onto here, of course, you get that fabled fang door of the wolf, like a werewolf type creature. Just very, very cool, very steel door-like. Of course, the door opens up like so. But you do have a trap door right here on the bottom. So He-Man opens the gate, comes in, bam, he falls right there. You get a little button on the side that lets the trap door down. Very cool, definitely reminiscent of the old times with the trap doors, things like that. And now you do get a jail, a prison, if you will. Same kind of door going on here, but it is a jail for He-Man. And the cool thing about this is you can slide this underneath. You can put this different places as well, just kind of like the ladder things. It really is choose your own adventure. Use what you want to do with your own imagination, but you can have this under the trap door if you want. You can have it underneath the other side. We'll show that here in a second. But I do like this little jail cell. Very cool, very awesome. If you're a kid playing, you know, Beastman goes in jail for a while. That's kind of what happens when you're a player out there. Now looking at the rest of the front here, you get the beautiful purple color, you get the very cool silver accents, a lot of things sculpted in throughout on this thing. Always kind of cool to look at the Easter eggs and kind of the demons and things like that there. Of course, the patented eyes on Snake Mountain, always love those creepy eyes, just very, very cool there. You do get peg stands throughout, which is a nice touch we didn't have back in the olden one, back in the olden times, because characters would fall off, stuff like that. You're not going to have anybody falling off now that we got peg holes in here. So you can stand characters all throughout here. If you're building out a display, building that out, definitely awesome. Definitely appreciate on that one. Love the chains here. You got the nice soft pliable chains. You just pull the hands off of a He-Man character, any of the Masters Universe characters, slide their hand through there, plug the hand back in, and bam, you got a little jail strap right there. So that is fun, a little extra attention to detail on this one. Of course, you got the big peaks on here. You got the little bat face going at the top as well. Definitely just very reminiscent of the old one. If you're familiar with the old one, you get the gist on this one. This one's just been improved, if you can imagine that. And of course, we have a fondness for the old ones of our childhood, but this one is definitely next level. Definitely very fun to take a look at, very fun to display. I can see people that don't even collect the whole line, just have this in the background there, just kind of on display, because it does look really cool. It does look very menacing. It does look very evil at the end of the day as well. You do get that, of course, wolf head up here, and if you're familiar with the original edition, and I definitely was, one of my all-time favorites about this thing was the little recorder. You could speak through it. It had a little voice box type thing. A lot of fun, a lot of hours of fun. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending who you ask, that is not a part of this one this time. So there's no speaker element, anything like that. That's probably the biggest thing missing from this one over the old one, but I feel it makes up with some of the cooler attention to detail, some of the deeper attention to details in this one, makes up for that, because at the end of the day, obviously little kids will play with that, but for the adult collectors, I don't know if we need the voice box and all that kind of stuff anymore, the speaker system, whatever you want to call it. But it's definitely something that's missing, but definitely something that was iconic of the original one back in the day. So last thing to talk about on the front here is you got a little secret entry down into Snake Mountain. And I'm going off the top of my head, I believe this was just kind of a hole back in the old one. You couldn't actually get all the way through. This time you can. It's got a little pliable kind of like, I don't know what this would be. Some kind of like tree limbs or something like that. It's the roots of a tree maybe. You can slide in, you can sneak into Snake Mountain through there right there. Very cool, nice pliable moving around there. So a little extra fun play activities you can do on that one right there. Next up, we do got the Bone Throne, the Bone Throne. We get that for Skeletor, of course, Skeletor's chair. You can put this all over the place, wherever you want it to be, you can. It just plugs in. It is made to go up top here, but you can still just set it wherever you want to. But we do get this Bone Throne looking very, very nice here. I thought I had the other Bone Throne somewhere around here. Who knows? Maybe I'll find it. But of course, we did get this for the first time with Super 7 back in the day with the Snake Mountain that Super 7 came out with in the Classics line in all-timer. I would love to put these things side by side, but it's just so big. I'd have to do a wide-angle lens. But you guys have seen the Snake Mountain from Super 7, just an all-timer of a playset. Very reminiscent of the Cat's Lair that's up for pre-order right now. Just an all-timer of a set. But of course that throne in this one, similar but different, but I'm glad we got this throne for the Origins. Very, very cool, very evil. Once again, that is the theme of Snake Mountain at the end of the day. Now we do get the back undersides of Snake Mountain. You can see the trap door right here where you fall. And like I said, this just easily clicks in here. You can put this wherever you want. You can clip it under here and it'll sit there as a cage, or you can clip it under here. There's a lot of different spots you can put that jail cell if you need to. So I do like the I do like that. I like that you can really choose your own jail adventure, and it's all about choosing your own adventure, especially when you're a kid playing with these kind of things, making up your own stuff. It's very fun to do. Head on the wolf does turn side to side. I forgot to mention that. You do get the little sticker inside here, a little bit similar, but a little bit different than the old one, of course. You got the purple on the inside. There's the peg for, of course, this. Peg that right in there. Skeletor can sit if he needs to. You do got the brown here, kind of the wooden plank floors. Then you get the cool sticker down here, another trap door, a little lizard, some skeletons, some people that met their end right in there. Love that. I did forget to mention on the front, you get the lever right here for that mouth on Snake Mountain, so you can open it up, close it, things like that. You can eat somebody if you want to. The hills are alive with more than music, my friends. That's exactly right there. So we do get that. You do get this really cool attention to detail here. You get the big moat kind of down, like the acid pit, whatever you want to call it. You sneak down through the bottom here, you fall into that stuff. I like that a whole lot, and that's where some of these fun characters come into play. You can stick them in here if you want to, or you can stick He-Man. Of course, you can bust them out at the waist, stick them right there, and you can have him squaring off against this guy, or he could be squaring off against the dragon if you want him to, but it looks like He-Man's sinking in there. It's like it's quicksand or something. It's like the never-ending story all over again is what we got going on. So I do like that attention to detail. Talked about this spider. You can use him in different spots. You can put him over here if you want to. He can just kind of hang out up there. You can stick him at the bottom of the wolf's head down here. There's different spots you can put all these different guys throughout. And that's, once again, just going to the creativity and the play that kids can have out there, choosing how they play and how they set up their battles and things like that on Snake Mountain. I think that is a really fun thing for things like this. I like to be able to just do what I want to do and do it how I want to do it. I think that is really cool. It looks like a little piece of rock came off of this one, so I'll have to stick that back in there as well. But definitely an all-timer of a play set here. I love that we're getting things like this all these years later, and a lot of people thought the Origins line was on its way out. Well, obviously not when we're getting things like this. We're getting Eternia around the corner. Just really fun to get some of these classic things re-released as an adult all these years later. It's just a nice nostalgia feel. It's a nice nostalgia hug at the end of the day of, man, you just think back to all your wars and all your playing and folding this up and taking it to grandma's house like your luggage. I don't need any clothes. I don't need any luggage. I got my Snake Mountain. I got my Grayskull. Got all the characters packed inside. I'm ready to play at grandma's for the weekend. It's kind of has that kind of feel to it in a lot of ways. And I figured I'll fold this back up here. And it does fold together very easily, like I did say. And then you got the little hinges on the side, locks it up, just like we saw with Grayskull. So that is a very cool attention to detail. You can lock it up so it doesn't flap open on you, anything like that. I forgot to hinge that down. But I figured I'd grab, just for scale, because maybe there's people that don't collect Origins, but they collect the Masterverse, for instance. Here's a Masterverse He-Man here. You can kind of see how that looks against this. Obviously, it's going to be a little bit bigger. This is much bigger than your Origin-style figures, but you can put them on here, and I think he will. Yep, he does. He does peg into the hole if you need him to. So you can do this, and I can see an adult collector, looking for just a backdrop for some of these more adult-like toys. I would say these are more adult toys than the Origin figures, if that makes any sense. But you can see kind of how He-Man scales up against that. And speaking of He-Man lines of the past, we did mention the Super 7 Snake Mountain. Well, here's a Super 7 Mattel Creations, I guess it wasn't Mattel Creations back then, but Masters of the Universe Classics line Skeletor. A long way to get there. Very similar scale to those, so you can see how he compares there against it. Of course, you got your regular He-Man figure. You can put him on here. We know how he's going to fit. He's like, this is what it's made for. That scale, that size of a character. We do know that. We got a little Dragon Blaster Skeletor as well, just to bring into the party here a little bit, so we can kind of have a little bit of He-Man, a little bit of Skeletor throughout on this one. But definitely a very, very cool set. At the end of the day, this is a must-have purchase. I want to say it's about $79.99. Now, we saw Grayskull. It might have took a year, but it did drop down to about $10, and I remember buying a second Grayskull just like, I can't pass this up for $10, and I think a lot of us were in that same boat. Will this go to $10? I really don't see it in the economy and the way things are being made now. That was kind of more COVID time frame. I think the quantities on a lot of this stuff are not equal to what they once were. Go back to the WWE Masters of the Universe line that we had. We got that John Cena Walmart ring, and it was the Grayskull ring. Well, the second one was the Rattlesnake ring or the Snake Mountain ring. They didn't make that in the same amount of quantities, and I kind of feel the same thing with this. I don't think this will be made in quite the quantities that Castle Grayskull was made in. So you got to take that into your purchasing power. You can always, play a little of that long game, but you know how that goes. Sometimes you can win and score big. Sometimes you can fall on your face, and we've all been there as well. So it'll be interesting to see how this one nets out. It is just starting to ship from all the retailers and things like that, so it's very cool. Going to be a great gift for the holiday season. Of course, holidays here in a couple of months. This would be a great thing to have under the old Christmas tree for Christmas from Santa or whoever is bringing it to you. Grandpa, grandma, aunts, uncles, you name it. But a fun set. Going to be fun on display. I'm currently working on the display in my collection right now. Can't wait till Eternia's here in 6 months. What is time? Hopefully something like that. It's going to be cool with everything kind of together, creating that whole universe of the He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, of course. So a very, very fun set. Strongly recommended, strongly nostalgic. If you have nostalgia for this would be something to get. Even if you don't have a huge collection or anything, something cool about just having Grayskull and Snake Mountain side by side in your office, in your playroom, whatever it may be. Just something fun to have. There's no doubt about it. So Snake Mountain, a winner for me. Definitely worth the wait. But what say you guys and gals out there in YouTube land? You picking up Snake Mountain? Are you going to get this one? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And of course, you made it this far. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Turn on the old notification bell as we're unboxing everything and anything here on the channel, including everything Masters of the Universe. And we're having a lot of fun while we do it. And of course, for early access to videos like this, bonus content, exclusive content, giveaways, Q&As, you name it, head on over to, of course, the Patreon. Patreon, your best way to support this YouTube channel and all the content it does bring. You can also support the channel over there at ProWrestlingTees.com. Search Kyle Peterson. And don't forget about social media. Search all64 over there on the X. And then, of course, Threads, Instagram is both the_Kyle_Peterson. So, for Snake Mountain, I'm Kyle. See you guys all real soon.